Hey, what's up? It's your boy Bobby Sapphire. It is early Sunday morning at the whole crew. These guys are talking about going to the gym on 3 hours of sleep. I am ready for bed. What's up, boys? Good morning.
The
Top of the
grind, baby.
morning.
What it do,
Oh,
baby?
what it do? I'm gonna find some energy for y'all. Steve, is it really 100 days till Vegas?
100 days till the Wednesday.
Okay, 100
Oh,
days
Because
till
when
I
the
was
Wednesday
I was
before
booking my
Vegas.
Minneapolis flight yesterday, and my Delta app said it's 100 days till Vegas, and I fly out on the Tuesday. So
You'll be in
Sick.
Vegas, baby.
So yeah,
yes,
100 about just
sir.
about 100 days. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. We're talking about sectors because this is our first podcast since we went to Denver. Steve made top eight, so we're going to talk about that. Obviously, the suspensions happened, so we're going to talk about the whole new meta. We're not going to really break down the suspensions, more break down what's going forward. We're talking about Darth Tyrannus and the Force and some Legacy of the Force spoilers that came out. And then next up is Richmond for Maddie at his first sector
Ooh.
qualifier.
My first paper tournament since November. So I'm
Wow.
ready to sling some paper. Yeah, I might like
Were you
goldfish at my
DQ'd from that
table.
one too?
No,
Yeah, great.
that was yeah.
Great
When
Stories
was
had
that?
an event yesterday.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was watching the Masters all day.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you didn't know, actually, I don't think I updated this, but whatever. We have a YouTube channel. I don't know how many subscribers we have, north of 7,300. But we're putting out videos every week. Justin just did a video breaking down the suspensions a little more in depth. What he made some meta predictions. And yeah, this week we'll have some pre Richmond coverage. And then, yeah, then all hell will break loose in Richmond. We'll see what's really going on. So check us out on YouTube. What
Look at that.
you want to throw something up
Look
there?
at
Man?
those showcase. No, I was gonna say like look at those showcases. Like there's showcases to be won this weekend. Look at
Well,
that middle one, that Vader. Look
Yeah,
at
well,
that.
you nailed it 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, and you made your off meta 3 hero leaders to dust off in JTL. You had the Luke up there, and then
And Stevie Getz went and got it.
Steve got the Luke.
I haven't gotten it yet.
True. You haven't actually received it.
You won it.
No,
You earned
I
it.
won.
And then Patreon, I think we got a nice little bump following the suspensions. I think people are hyped to jump back in, and now that the Django oppression is gone, so we're up to 1,656 paid, and I think there was even 2 more overnight. So
The deck threads were lighting up like a Christmas tree. Some old ones, Iden. I haven't looked at the Iden deck threads
Justin
since set
leading the
one.
charge in the Iden one.
That popped up, man. It
I
was
love Iden.
crazy to see. I was like, what is this new threat? Iden. Whoa.
Yeah.
So yeah. Post ban, it's sick to see everyone.
Deck
really
threads
not-
are wild. Yeah, just
Yeah.
what's popping up. The Orlando Vader 5K winner deck thread. Like Guy and George has been popping off. Like Cunning Kylo has been popping off.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of energy. Red Han.
I've been getting
has
pinged
popping off.
in threads I didn't even know existed. like Bosk Nabat. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
why am I here?
People-
I do love the pings to like these random threads that I've never even seen or been in, and I just can't believe that these like thriving communities within the Discord just exist in these little pockets of reality. It's so funny.
Yeah, the one I always shout out is like the Fennec crew from last set, but like they all exist, and like there's been some Han 2 blue people even in the Tarkentown meta still like having their circle, and like it's cool to see, and like that's where you can really collaborate with people. It's sick.
Yeah, they've been great, and I'll have to every once in a while just like mark everything as red just to like reset my thing so I don't spend all day clicking into threads, but then they're all white again in like 20 minutes. So
Yeah,
Steve,
You're trapped forever.
how are all your deck threads going, Steve?
They're great, bro. I think I've gotten more DMs this week than I have since we started this thing.
Oh, Steve, we could talk about it, but Steve and I were also on the Across the Network podcast, which
That was a great watch.
Everyone was excited and shocked when Steve was like ready to do the podcast with some people that he doesn't know super well. Like he knows Ian, but I don't think he'd ever met Jonathan before. So that was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's a whole new world, Steve.
I had a full intentions of just like coming up with some excuse last minute scheduling wise.
Nice.
And then I was like, F it, let's do it. Oh wait, I can swear on this one, can't I?
You can swear. Yep, you can
That's
swear.
fucking.
You
Oh.
you can even drink.
we can
It's been 2 minutes, so we can.
Oh,
drink.
it's been 2 minutes.
I
Yeah,
got-
yeah.
I got my bourbon here at 6 a.m. I'm not gonna drink
I
it.
thought
but
about
Early.
cracking
What
it.
are we doing?
That's
I just
insane.
keep the glass covered
Oh my God.
off to the side for at night. Maddie, you
I
want to
thought
shout
about
out?
having a brekkie. Oh yeah, I got some Guinness last night because I was rooting on Rory. Little 4-pack. I had 1.5 beers. That's all. I'm out of shape. Yeah, shout out to our VIPs. Man, like it was cool to see. I wasn't there in Denver, but it was cool to see them sporting the red, who had their new VIP hoodies in, and just like seeing everyone hang out. And I know at least Mitch is going to be hanging out with me in Richmond, and we got some good crews coming to Minnesota and Vegas. So yeah, I like the support, like to find people that want to like support us and like in even a greater way is just like we're really appreciative of it. And like
Yeah,
we have a great community.
I saw that picture of him with the notebook. I was like,
You got it all.
Yeah,
He's
sick.
ready to rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
Morocco
guys.
was in Denver rocking the maroon VIP, and I think it was in transit to her in the mail when she was in Denver. But yeah, it's dope to see this support. So definitely huge shout out to these guys.
Yeah, you'll have to see it. And then we got our shop on Fourth Wall. Keep your eyes peeled for some new product that's going to be popping up in there. But always got the premium gear on. Like the stuff is so good, we just wear it every day.
Yeah,
I'm going to the gym after this, so I don't want it to get ruined. So
I almost wore the Sabine one. Nice, Justin. I mean, I will honestly say you guys like, and that was part of like, I know not to make this take forever, but like the quality control that you guys have on this is insane. Like going through and like finding the right hoodie. Like this hoodie is my favorite hoodie I've ever worn, and like it's hard not to want to buy like 20 of them. They're so nice.
Yeah,
well, like all my other hoodies are pretty much Burton hoodies, and they feel and wear a lot like similar, like that kind of like snowboard style, a little bit tighter. It's nice.
Justin had a KTOD Yeti, but that was a gift from Metal Fab. Is that your Metal Fab Yeti?
Sponsored by Metal Fab.
Cool.
Yeah.
These are super sweet. Got the KTD in the front. They're the Yeti. They got like the super cool like top part.
Yeah. Screw
That
top.
has like
Yeah, they're
screw
great.
top, and then you have another spot. So B-Flow hooked up the whole tournament testing team with these sick bottles. So we say hydrate. I will say this in Denver, I never drink water, like at tournaments. And because I had this, my routine literally between rounds was just to fill up a whole Yeti and pound it. And then I would go and play my game. And then obviously towards later end of the tournament, I had to use the bathroom and play the round. But I drank so much water because they had like the little fill up thing.
Yeah.
And I felt great because we were traveling and we were moving all over the place. But by like Saturday night, I felt absolutely amazing.
Yeah, same thing. I drank so much water in Denver.
Yeah, it really helped that B-Flow gave us those, and it also really helped that the water filling station was just at the bottom of the escalator. And then Maddie, what's going on with your channel? Stay tuned. All right.
Well, honestly, like it's one of those things, like I bumped out a lot of content to it and I love it and I plan on coming back to it, but we just have so many irons in the fire that it's going to be definitely a less frequent drop. And there's still like, I mean, we do a lot of YouTube content. Like I've been putting out more Patreon content, honestly.
And also you're returning to playing. So that's taking up a lot of your time too.
Yeah. So, it's there. There's going to be some content coming soon. I think it'll be a little
honestly,
more
I don't
wider.
think anyone who's in our Discord and Patreon is starving for Maddie content because you're doing like car vlogs, you're doing extra videos there, which is like, kind of stuff that you could put on KTOD Maddie, but you are just sort of been focused on making stuff for the KTOD community, which is great.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix. Like I love putting out the free content, but also like we do have all these people that are supporting us, and like if I have a free second, it's kind of going towards that. Like, I did a couple co-streams over the weekend in the Discord. So like if I think that's a fun thing. Like, yeah.
It's crazy. It's only been a week.
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. It was 3:00 yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, a week ago it was like round 2.
Yeah,
that is.
I was 2-0.
We did the
KTOD
band.
Maddie.
The band co-stream was.
Yeah,
cool
I was gonna
too.
just shout out Maddie. Did a co-stream in the Discord of the
Yeah.
ban announcement, and we had like 125
That was
people in there.
Yeah, it was sick.
And I expect to get it popping off when Maddie's on stream in Richmond this weekend,
Oh, it's
or
gonna be
in
wild.
2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. The KTOD Maddie YouTube channel is like the Miles Morales universe of Spider-Man. It's like great. It's like on this little break till 2027. We got the other Marvel content, like the main content, Fantastic Four, Avengers. But like we know it's coming at some point. The third part of the trilogy.
How about Miles's dad got mentioned on Daredevil Born Again?
Oh, spoiler!
Well, he just
Why
like
not?
oh, spoiler. Keep an eye out when they're naming a list of police officers to shout out Officer
that's great. I
Morales.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Alex's wife caught that actually. She's the
I
one
think
who
the
told
I
us.
think the moral of
That's insane.
the KTOD Maddie channel story is if you're looking for his content, subscribe to the Patreon. You'll get plenty of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Good point. I finally remembered
Finally
to update this
updated
slide. So we got the Richmond Sector and the Minnesota Regional as the final two stops before Worlds for us. We will be. I know, like, there's a Connecticut PQ, and I'm thinking about doing one other PQ myself. I'm definitely not doing 6 or 7 like I did last season, but
It's in Albany, right?
yeah, I might do one of the ones near Wu for New Jersey
Okay.
because he said I could crash with him, and I'm also thinking about going down to the Tata one possibly because the
Ooh.
pricing of that one was crazy. So
That sounds.
Let me know.
fun.
I'd be
I'll go with
interested
you.
in doing that one because I'd be interested in going down there.
A trip would be fun. Yeah, let me know about that one. I may still do the Connecticut one. I may be able to sneak that out. I thought I wasn't going to be able to.
yeah, May the 4th.
But I do have some scar tissue there because that, Steve, is where my deck reg error led to a DQ,
I think it's absurd.
which is crazy.
Like
Yeah.
the DQ you've gotten, considering all the shenanigans people have been getting away with lately with just warnings.
Yeah, the game was new. It was definitely a very harsh penalty for missing 2 cards off your deck list. But that's okay.
Yeah, and-
we're
we've
getting
we've
over
talked
it.
about it a ton, but it was just like it could only have happened then. You know, they changed the rule where you have to show your deck list every round. So like that was the only reason why it was like sort of a justified penalty to them. But anyway, we're going
Yeah,
to
we don't have
Richmond.
to get
Maddie's
into
going to
the ancient
Richmond.
history.
He'll be down there with Alex and Tata, and then I think everyone but Maddie is going to be in Minnesota. Is that the plan?
No, I'll be in Minnesota.
Oh,
Maddie's a man. That's the whole
Yeah,
everyone.
I'm
We're
making
rolling.
Jason come meet us.
oh, sick. All right, so all of
Yeah,
us
I'll be in
and
Minnesota.
Jason Ford will be in Minnesota.
Yeah.
His
PQ,
old
no, not
stomping
PQ,
grounds.
GP top 8. Yeah, his where he went to school.
Go Gophers.
Yeah.
Uh,
Seasoned Magic professional
Yeah.
in the
And-
past.
And
Friend of the pod. Friend of the
Friend of the pod, Jason.
friend of the logo.
keep an eye out for Minnesota. Our tournament testing team compadres got a challenge from the FFG devs to play a 3v3 in Minnesota. Alex, Tata, and Wu, after winning the 3v3 championship down in Seattle, the devs want to take them on. So expect. I don't know. I really want to see Alex
Expect
take
a
on.
competitive and close match. No,
It's-
that's going to be a bloodbath.
I think we
Be careful
should-
what you wish for.
I want to see
think the only
Danny
stipulation
play.
should be
What's up?
is they bring my Luke showcase. They want that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's gonna be. That's like when Kobe Bryant was like on the U.S. Olympic team, and like a 14-year-old Kyrie Irving asked him to play 1-on-1, and Kobe said, "Just because you watch Shark Week doesn't mean you're a shark." And like,
Oh, that's insane.
Ugh.
so
that's a good
just
quote.
because FFG, just because you make the cards, doesn't mean you
Yeah,
know how to
that's
play
right.
them.
I'll be recording. I'll be recording whoever plays those guys. It's gonna be great. All right. Well, so definitely Richmond. I don't know what we have planned for Minnesota. I know I'm not going to be there long, so stay tuned for the world tour there. And then yeah, we got to order the world's mats and replace this slide with maybe a different slide for the mat that people will get at World Championships.
Oh baby,
I'm excited for that. That's a sick one.
Yeah, I'm excited for Mini and Worlds. All right. We got to talk about Richmond. If you want to hear all about Steve's story in great depth, you can check out the aforementioned Across the Network podcast, and you can also check out our video where me and Steve talked about the event, his deck list, and just like his historic run to the top 8 with Luke on our YouTube channel. This is one of our videos from last week. How you feeling, Steve? A week out after going top 8, after 11 rounds of Swiss.
I got a lot of emotions, to be honest with you. It was an amazing weekend. It's been a really hard week. I think coming back to like reality with work and life and all that kind of stuff. Like it's almost like coming down off of a drug. Also, like trying to play this week, like for the most part, has been pretty miserable. I'm like, all right, so I got a little momentum. Let's grind out some new decks for the new meta, and I play a couple games and I lose, and I'm just like, all right, what the fuck is the point of this? But I mean, it felt pretty good to go to top 8. Like, still reeling off of my punt in the top 8, exacerbated by the fact that both Mike and Justin reminded me of the details last night in our group chat.
Oh yeah.
So I probably lost an hour of sleep over that. But I mean, it was a great weekend. You know, everyone, the community itself is just fantastic. And we've talked about this a couple times, so I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. But like, being called like the people's champion or being like the fan favorite is like such a foreign concept to me. So like having that aspect was really cool.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved seeing everyone cheering you on. Like, it was so fun. Like watching everyone sort of rally around you. People asking how you were doing. People just getting so hyped. It's just
People were hyped, man.
It's so fun.
Your games had like, I mean, one of the things you didn't see in like the slides is your games that like weren't on features had like 20 people watching them after like, you know, once like the round started finishing, people were finishing their rounds who were even in day 2, and they were just going over to watch you play. Like you're playing for top 8. There was a good like 20 people standing behind you, and it was crazy because Mike was also playing for top 8 at that moment. Obviously, it was not the result we wanted, but like when I would go over there, we were like texting. Like me and Rahul, who's on the VIP tier, would be like, Steve's looking grim in game 1, and then it was like Fleet Lieutenant got there with a Luke, like for exact D's, like exclamation point. And it was like Mike's not looking good over here. 30's rough, 30-point mirror match. Django's rough. It's looking tough. So it was like so much energy behind the scenes of like all the community. Like Sussy Bread was like running back and forth between matches, like, and like all these the whole crew was just like checking things out. Tada and me had plenty of times. We scrubbed. And we were just like all over the tournament being like, all right, this looks like this is going to happen. Like we did have Alex was like, scouting out like your round 4 match and was like already ready to like lock in with like, what we thought was going to be a very hard matchup in Han because that matchup finished first. He's like, what do we have for DJ 8? Like, no, this was obviously pre-banned. Like, all right, it's a 60 card deck. Do we mulligan for takedown or like Battlefield Marine Fleet Lieutenant to like as our only out? Because if the guy's smart, he's just gonna tech us. He's just gonna tech DJ us.
Right.
But it was awesome.
All that energy was great. Alex was also like running back and forth from the stream table to tell us, and then like everyone was just watching on their phones. So like you kind of already knew, but it had that searching for Bobby Fischer energy when like
awesome.
the dads are locked in the cage and they're just like getting updates from the kid. Who won?
Yeah, we had at least 50 people too in the co-stream watching. I think it was like your top 8 game 3 or something. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and because of the Django ban, and like even on Across the Network, we were supposed to talk about it, but we didn't. But I haven't really had a chance to talk about my run. If anyone was still curious, I think I was X1 after day 1 and faced 2 Django 30s, and my first round was against Daniel Hall, who ended up winning. Actually, maybe I played him in the Swiss, but either way, the 30s were tough. No, I think I played him on day 2, but game 1 I got him to 29, and I played it over in my head. Like I thought I punted, then I'm pretty sure I didn't punt. I think I just got a little unlucky on a TDR. And then I took both of them to game 3, and then my final round against Brett, he also was on 30. And I think the big story of the day for me, and it's kind of too bad about the bans because I'd like learned a lot and wanted to like say a lot about the Django mirror, but I just didn't hit any Devastators on day 2, and those guys did. And with a huge gap in life, it was really a struggle to get anywhere without the Devastators hitting. So, yeah, it was pretty tragic to go 0-2. I'm still not really happy with myself, but on to bigger and better things.
Those are tough pulls, and like you said, like
yeah, I
not
definitely
hitting Devastator, and they are. I mean, what are you gonna do? They were tight. Like you grinded those out. I mean, you got it. You eventually, like, you know, if your variance runs a little thin or whatever, it kind of sucks. TDR Devastator is a thing. That was
a thing.
That was
a
potent.
thing.
Yeah, was operative word.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, and everyone was really supportive, and it was good to make a deep run. But I'm definitely not going to get over going 0 wins on a day for a while. All right. The other cool thing that happened in Denver was the insane KTOD hangout that we had. Justin, I love that picture at the top with the Phoenix crew.
I only own one sweatshirt, I guess.
You want to
Wearing
talk a little
some
bit
clothes.
about how this came
Just
together
got this
and like,
too.
yeah, I mean, it's sick.
Yeah, so as everyone knows, we've been doing the hangs. Like we did the PQ in London, was one on the road, and like you did one in Atlanta at SCG. So we've kind of like taken it on the road, and up to this point, it's been, I'd say like usually about like 20 people. Maybe like Charlotte was a little bit lighter just because it was the end of a format. But it's generally been like find a pretty nice place and just kind of like spot up and even sometimes play some games. And this was very different. So this is when we did the hangout, and shout out to Kyle because he really led the charge way before the sector was even scheduled for Denver. Kyle Kraft was messaging us, and we were talking about like, let's do a hang in Denver. He saw we went to London. He's like, I got a great community here. Can we do one? And we were all set to just attach it to actually like this week's Denver SCG, which was like there's a big Magic tournament there. We have figured that the SWU event would be similar to the other SCG SWU events. We're like, oh yeah, let's go out. But the sector got announced. It made sense to attach to this. But what ended up happening is we had just had so many people signing up, so we were like, all right, we need a space. Once again, Amarahil hooked us up with a buddy of his who owns a bar restaurant. What's the name of the restaurant? We should shout them out, actually, if one of you guys could look up.
I had to ask you like 17 times.
Society. Sports and
yeah.
Hold on.
Social Society in Denver, which is like great sports bar, and they like, Chris is, or Amarahil's known them for a while, gave us like the private sort of private event room, which was like this walk down the stairs. It was really cool that we had like on when you go in there, it was like private event for KTOD. It was so cool to see that on like.
It was also packed upstairs because it was Colorado Rockies opening day, so like tons of
it was
people.
like, and it was basically like
Society Sports.
So if you're in that area, definitely go to Society Sports and Spirits in Denver. Great hang anyway. Like it's a great place to get a drink, some food. But walk downstairs, and we basically hosted like a 1990s, early 2000s like college party. Honestly,
in
down
the basement,
there, it was
yeah.
amazing.
It
Like
definitely had a Legion vibe.
it was like cramped quarters. Like everyone was there drinking. Like there was a line to meet Mike and like get mats and take pictures. I felt like I was like Mitt Romney on like a political thing, being like, "Hey, how are you? It's good to meet you. Oh, thanks for coming." All that stuff, and then like you can see like Woo's there, and Alex was chatting around. You see like CJ B-Flow was there. He was certainly enjoying himself.
Yeah,
so it was
he
like,
was getting after it,
time.
slinging metal fab tokens, selling. Yeah, it was great, and it was cool because the streamers were there, C Raptor was there, and then Corey and Ron from FFG crashed it. Someone told them where we were having it, and uninvited came to the hangout. It was so nuts.
That's cool.
I hope you didn't give him a mat.
I did not give them a mat. Don't worry. A lot of people ask me for mats, and I only give them to people at the hang.
Special shout out to the top crew though, the Arizona guys. They were like everyone was amazing, but the Arizona guys were just so like humble and nice the whole weekend, and they like treated us honestly like celebrities, which was wild. Like they were coming up to us and like asking for pictures and like, autographs. It just felt like really surreal, but I did want to shout them out because they were so incredibly nice.
Definitely haven't signed my name that much since I bought a house.
Next page.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was great, and yeah, the line was long. It was we got out of there right on time. I think we bounced it right at 9 to head home.
But it was still going. The party was still going, and
but people
the staff
stayed.
at the place, they're like, "Oh yeah."
People
should all
walked
stay,
by us to get in and be like, "Hey, can we grab those mats?" And be like, "Here you go, have fun."
Yeah.
And they just walked right by us and went and hung out at the bar. And we had our own bartender down there. It was just all great.
The hangs are awesome. I'm excited for Richmond.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Although
sick.
I'm doing it solo, so I'm gonna need
It's a
some
lot.
people
Yeah,
that-
there's a lot. You're gonna need community members to step up, but of course there will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
will
will.
be. They always
This is
do.
going to be a very long queue to see Maddie.
Yeah,
You
Oh
thought
my
the
God.
Yeah, we'll
line
see.
was long for Mike?
yeah. The
I will
We'll
say
see.
there's a whole bunch of playmats that are 7 out of 8 of the tournament testing team, and people are going to be hunting you down at Richmond and Minnesota because they're like, we have the 7 signatures, we are looking for Maddie.
Oh yeah, a lot of
They
people
They need
want.
the
Like
lefty.
a lot of them. Yeah.
I have a pretty good sig. I practiced it quite a few times,
Nice.
like way before this, like as a kid or whatever.
Oh yeah,
I
in
do
high
that.
school, just write my name
Yeah.
a million times.
Yeah.
All right.
It's got
so
a little bit of everything.
the other thing about
Baby.
Denver were sort of like the prize economy that I thought
Yeah.
would be important to both criticize and give credit where credit is due on adapting. But Denver was kind of a mess in a couple ways. One was that, I think they were expecting a couple thousand, right? Like 1,500 people, and they got about 500, less than 500 people. So the number of rounds was all askew. When we got there, they said it was going to be 9 rounds of Swiss the first day and 4 rounds the following day, followed by a top 8. And like that amount didn't make any sense, and it would have kept us there like all night. That's why we all had like red eye flights, right? And then the prizes were crazy. So these mats were 2,000 tickets, but you got 100 for joining the event. You got 300 for day 2, and you got like 500 for top 8. And so like even if you top 8'd, you couldn't even get half a mat, and you couldn't play in any of the side events.
I would like 1/3 of a mat, please.
Yeah.
Scissors. They start cutting.
I'll take the part that doesn't say participant.
So, people were hustling to buy them. A bunch of, like, all the BN guys, like, they didn't even come day 2 because they slept in and stayed up all night. They were like, we're not even going to come because it's not worth grinding for these prizes. The one thing that FFG did listen to, or SCG, or whoever was responsible for this, they ended up cutting the prizes costs in half. So mats ended up only being 1,000, and the pins only ended up being 250. I don't know about the promo cards because we got them. I wasn't really looking at them. But and then they gave more tickets for those of us who made day 2, and then Steve got another 2,000 tickets just for top 8ing. So Steve was able to walk away with 3 of the mats just for
cool.
playing, and then you also had the VIP mat, right, Steve?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of, I need you to ship out the Shieldgate mat to Clockwork Brontosaurus for me.
All right, you guys send me a DM
know.
so I have a to-do list.
That is a sick mat.
Yeah.
I gotta give them props for listening, because it was like discouraging for us, like kind of watching at home and like getting ready for Richmond. I'm gonna be honest, like the Richmond thread was like, oh man, these are the prizes, like that's tough, but like, or this is the cost, like that's tough. But I mean, the fact that they adjusted, I think, is huge, and like they are cool prizes. Like
They're
yeah.
great. This
know,
mat is fire. I played with this mat on stream when they made me
Yeah.
on the official stream use an FFG mat. They wouldn't let me use the KTOD mat. I was like, well, I'm not using the stupid participant mat. Well, there's Justin's
Right.
stupid participant
What?
mat. This is Maddie's close the Shieldgate mat.
yeah. Thanks
go-
for getting that for me.
No
I
problem.
owe you one.
Yeah, just get me in Richmond or something.
Yep.
The Kylo mat is sweet.
They're all the mats are sick. I think
That's
like
sweet.
Mats are sweet.
I will never like.
Cody mat.
I know that that's where it started, but like when you make an adjustment like that, like to me that like washes away the sins a little bit. It's like, all right, you goofed, you put your hand up. Yeah, it could have been a little quicker, but like you did that. We're moving forward. Obviously, like would love to see more prize wall. That's for the future, but like listening and really making that positive change, and like, yeah, if you go if you day 2 or if you top 8, like come on, 300 was crazy. So yeah, really glad they made that adjustment, because like this is cool. These are cool things. I'm excited about them.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because like one of the issues I think with the adjustments, and I agree, like making the adjustment made sense. Like they had to do something, but like it is a little baffling how they didn't have this stuff figured out ahead of time, like based upon like just doing the numbers. Like, all right, didn't they think about someone making top 8? And like they knew these numbers ahead of time. And then the other thing with the rounds, like the fact that they didn't know how many rounds, and after the tournament had already started, like, yeah, they were expecting 2,000, but like, shouldn't have they said to themselves, like, okay, what if we get 500? What if we get 1,000? What, like,
Yep.
give some breakdowns and actually have like like an entry for that. Be like, okay, at 800 or less, we will do 9 rounds plus 2 rounds. At 801 to 1200, we're going to do what Mike said. And actually, if it is, let's say 3,000, well, it was capped, but if it was like whatever the highest
max,
amount was that they had like an idea on number of rounds, like you could even think about like prizing. Like obviously, there's no cash prizes, but like maybe they would
have
do
the prizes.
And then they didn't have the prizes for the showcase, which is a little bit.
And
like,
the top 8
when
though. Steve didn't get the top 8, Matt.
Yeah, the
Didn't
top
get
8,
the
Matt.
Top 8, Matt. Didn't get my showcase. Like I've inquired about the showcase, and it's just like, you'll get it when you get it type vibe, which is like extreme. I don't know. Like I've had a business before. Like the one thing that's easy to do and always you can do is give good customer service, and it just feels like that aspect they're just
Yeah, and I haven't
trying.
I didn't like go back and watch the video of them announcing the Luke Invader showcases, but I definitely remember like an energy about like go to these events to win them, like earlier than being able to get them on the prize wallet worlds. Like this was an incentive to play Luke. Like maybe Steve wouldn't have played Luke if, obviously top 8 it went wonderfully for him, but like.
No,
You know what I mean? Like there was an
didn't.
incentive to play the Vaders and the Lukes, so now you look at Richmond. If it is just going to be, hey, go pick it up at Worlds, that kind of stinks. So I think like some of these things that are actually like, and some of these things that are actually
Huge
like
decrease in value.
Yeah.
Like some of these things that are actually preventable, like just make sure they happen, because they all they would require is like a few emails to go back and forth between them on the back end, or like a meeting ahead of time, like a Wednesday, be like, all right, where are we at with this, so you're not scrambling mid event.
Yeah, but like my problem with it was like Melee's there, SCG's there. They have people who do this professionally.
Yeah.
And like I don't know where the blame falls, but someone needed to adjust. And I agree. Like I think the pricing adjustments are way more forgivable, and like the thing that I'm willing to be like what Maddie said, just like, yeah, good on you. But the tournament structure stuff, the stuff that you could see ahead of time that people plan their trips around, is the stuff I'm less forgiving on.
So should there have been less rounds in day 1, or should there have been more in day 2, or both?
There should have been an extra round in day 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a case for the extra one fewer or none at all.
Right. Like I think that was one of the issues that the tournament itself, I think, actually just should have been like not that many rounds. Like it just should have capped, right? Like at 8 or 9. Like they had a clear cut at like an earlier stage.
For sure. But I think like the bigger problem, well, two things. One was they couldn't even figure out what time to start the event. Half the weekend they were saying start at 9, the other half will start at 10. Like that's just a gimme. That's a layup there.
Yeah, they told us specifically be there before 9 for day 2, and then when we got there, they were like, "Oh no, it's at 10." And I went to the guy that told me that. It's like, you changed it, and he's like, it wasn't a change. He's like reversing. He's doing the thing where like I didn't make a mistake. Even though just like say like
there was a lot of that. There definitely was a lot of that.
They had the showcase and then told me I couldn't have the showcase.
Yeah, there were a lot of rumors flying around.
There was a lot of like, no, this is why we're doing it, and not just like, hey, this was actually a mistake. We're in learn mode. Which I think at some point they were saying those things, but I think like it's certainly. I think Richmond will actually be really indicative of like where these, like Maddie, I'd love to hear your thoughts when you get back. Be like, hey, they actually did change it. They're smooth on these things. They had everything ready to roll, because there's a lot there that they can capitalize on. Like when we walked into the convention hall, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like SWU event, nothing else there. The downtown convention hall, like this is the big time. Like you've got the posters, and it felt like one of those big conventions, and felt special. So that's all laid up. So we'll see. I think Richmond will be really
I'm going to be following it closely. I got my gimbal. Shout out to Mike. I am going to be freaking recording everything from there. Whether I scrub out and it's a mission to see how many tickets I get, or if I make a run or whatever, I'm going to try to put some good content out there. So I'm going to be following closely, because like I'm a little harder on the tournament stuff. Like you guys are. Like I get it was your first, US based sector, right? But like, this is also like we've been doing TCG tournament. Like these aren't companies that this is their first time. So like you can kind of miss me with some of that. But if they don't make an adjustment to Richmond, like
There was
within
like
reason, I will be a little bummed.
There was like 8 players that made day 2 that had to play 2 rounds with absolutely zero shot at winning anything.
Yeah, we knew that at the start. Like, I saw like some of the percentages, and like we said it in the team chat and like elsewhere. Like, people had no shot, and honestly, like the DQ made it closer, right? One spot closer, like.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's one of the problems without having, like, if you think about the way that, like, this did say resemble a Magic GP a little bit, where in Magic you would have the top 8, but then you would also have a bracket of like secondary prizes, aka cash, where you'd say, okay, this is paying out to 128, it's paying out to 64. So you'd actually like make the breakdown,
Right?
And you weren't really necessarily eligible. I think one of the things they switched to like 6 and 3, or they switched to something at some point. I forget what it was.
All X and 2s.
Where you actually like you'd go into it and you'd say, all right, if I win all my games, win all 6 rounds, I can maybe come in 9th. But there was also 6 rounds of day 2 for GPs.
Right.
So it was also like, yeah, but if I go like 5, so like most people would say, I don't want to go 6 rounds to maybe make it, right? But you know what? If I go like 5 and 1, that's actually like I might like make top 32 and make a decent sized amount of change. Or like, hey, I could go like 4 and 2 and actually still make like $300 or something like that. So I think like creating a structure, obviously it's harder when you don't have cash prizes, but maybe there's actually like a ticket breakdown where it's not just everyone who makes day 2 does this, but like it's actually like, okay, performance, because one of the things also that was we were talking about was there wasn't much of an incentive to not drop. So that's another thing. Like they should,
right?
And I think one of the things too, like day 2 was less than 64 players, and they maybe should have actually had some 6 and 3s get in and just said like, okay, our breakdown's gonna be X2 or top 64, and then actually have a day 2 structure with 64 players that just works within their like
and rewards people for staying in, like you said. That's the big thing, is like it's okay to not make top 8 if you have other things to play for on day 2. But if you're playing for literal nothing, like no extra tickets, no like top
the points
16,
don't come until next. So next season they'll have the point system, which helps a little bit, right?
Because help a lot actually.
As long as they don't have the same economy as they did day 1 of prizes, like if the points matter, unlike Whose Line. If the points are not made up and they actually do matter, then that would obviously be another feather in their cap for incentivizing people to play more. It sounds like they needed to go, and like this is off the top, so I could be going. It sounds like they needed to go like 1 less round day 1 and maybe 1 more day 2 or some,
I mean, it's all mathed out for Magic, but like because it was so few players, they just needed the 9 rounds. It was a clean cut after day 1 of 8 and 1 players.
Yeah.
And there was just no reason to do a day 2. But shout out to everyone who improved on day 2 and didn't go 0-2.
9 rounds in 1 day is a lot, but at least it would be a clean cut.
Yeah, or do
that picture.
Or do 8. Yeah, this is Justin's pick. I haven't seen the official one, but there's Steve in the middle next to the winner, and then there's Steve playing Daniel Hall, the eventual winner, up top. So just wanted to shout out some pictures from the event. Here's some other good ones. Here's a picture of Tada. That's totally real. And then there's me and Justin got to play next to each other. We tried to Justin was a little slow getting over. We didn't get to play next to each other.
It's totally real.
And then Steve playing in the feature match area. And then they had like giant standee panels around the convention hall with card art from Jump to Lightspeed, so I went and took a picture with every single one. I thought they were really sick. I thought the Boba one was really sick. It was Boba, Holdo, the Vulture, Swarm Droid, IG, R2, Chimera.
Auction those off.
Tilting his head over to like snuggle with you.
Yeah, he's checking in on me.
He'll see you back when they make an Eternal format.
But I love the picture of me and Justin. I love like seeing the deck box, the mats.
Yeah, gear, Metal Fab gear, right there.
All the it's a perfect sponsorship image.
I don't know, that one, the totally real one of Tada has just got me in stitches.
Well, he had one. There was one of him actually, and then someone just put it over, so I had to use the good one.
Yeah, that's really good.
And then obviously the white jacket's looking absolutely fresh.
Yeah, great job on that, Justin. The white jackets were fire.
Yeah,
thanks. Well, I'll tell you that the convenience of just being able to look around and find your friends is great, because we're just like this giant clump of white. That's in the event.
Snow Trooper vibes or whatever.
And then here's the top 16. Obviously Steve finished 7th after, like, these are the final standings, I think, after Swiss. But what I loved about the reason why I wanted to shout out this slide is, out of everyone in the top 16, Steve had the fewest losses. He only lost 5 games
crazy.
on the whole
Yeah, that is
weekend, which is
wild.
nuts.
I had a lot of 2-0s, thank God, because I was not mentally prepared to play that many games.
And then
Yeah,
shout
it's
out,
a lot of games,
shout
man.
out to our
9
teammate
rounds day one is like insane.
Wu started 0-1 and then battled back to make top 16. He came in 12th. Our friend Lee got 11th. Who else is in here? I guess, like, Daniel Hall ended up winning the thing. He's in our Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in all,
It is pretty
show 'em from the
sick.
crew.
Like 3 out of 7 of us went there on the team. 3 top 16s is actually just so insane. And then it is cool seeing like all the community members do well and take it
Richard
down.
Douglas.
Like,
Shout
that's
out
always
Richard
fun.
Douglas. He's a longtime supporter of ours. Just like one day sent me a bunch of money for people to get their coin for people who didn't want to pay.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
great. All right, now it's time to
baby.
talk about the new meta. So, obviously, if you didn't know, Django, Triple Dark Raid, and DJ were banned, suspended.
I just bought these.
They joined Boba Fett on the suspension list. So there's that. I mean, I don't think there's much to be said that hasn't already been said. Justin, you can go check out his video. There's no shortage of commentary and comments. Although I saw a post on Facebook that was like, I can't believe I haven't seen any posts about the bans, and they were not trolling, which
Yeah.
that's Facebook in a nutshell for you.
Yep.
But what we want to talk about today is a whole new SWU. And I asked the guys to talk about the leaders they wanted to chat about. And rather than do a million slides, I just thought we could kind of have a conversation about what you thought was going to happen going forward. I mean, happy to hear from whoever wants to jump in here.
I'll
But
pop in quick first. Like, I think it's interesting, like, when you're going and trying to get games with like random people and seeing what people are excited about. The fact that DJ was gone and Django's gone, you saw like the control jump to the forefront. I think a lot of people really went there. And so one of the leaders, obviously, that I would pen there was Kira, just because that was such like a successful leader in the past, and blue green villain with Barrage and Kira's flip is pretty potent. So I am, I got my eyes there. And then the other thing I wanted to key on too is like, yeah, Han got hit with DJ, but like, will a new Han emerge? What like cool things will people cook up? Because I can't imagine that powerful leader is just completely gone. So those are the two big ones that I think like I keyed on. Is this control meta? Will Han bounce back?
Yeah, I said this on the weekly pod, but I said I think that right now it's actually like more up in the air than it was going into set 4. I thought set 4 was kind of like obvious what the best deck was, which was Django, and I thought Han would still be great. But I thought that it really started at those 2 decks, and then everything else could kind of fall in line. Now, I don't actually think there's a consensus for the first time of like what the best deck is for, really, since I can remember, right? Like the last set, I think it was Han was the best deck, and then before that, we had Boba that was the best deck. So now it's kind of like, hey, what is actually the best deck right now? And for the first time, I don't necessarily know if there's a set answer. I think Quinlan could be that deck. I think Sabine could be that deck. I think, like to Maddie's point, I think Han could be that deck. I think one of the control leaders could be that deck. And it could be for the first time also that like it's a weekly thing where like Bosk wins for a week and then something beats Bosk, and
that's in set 1 have we had that. And not only what might be the best deck, but like what are people going to play? Like what is the meta even going to be? The only thing that I'm like positive of is that there's going to be a steady dose of Han and Quinlan, because I do think Han.
I think Sabine, you add Sabine to that.
Yeah, Sabine
I think when
probably
people don't
should
know
have
what
been
to
in the
do,
background of the slide.
They go to aggro too.
Yeah.
I think Han's still very good. Obviously, like getting hit by DJ, that was keeping all the control decks out of the meta. But a lot of what Han can do on turn 1 keeps a lot of the aggro decks out of the meta. So we'll have to see how they respond. And those aggro decks can be good against Quinlan, which struggles to sort of play catch up because of the nature of how his ping Tarkentown happens. One of the things that I thought we might see is like a surge of space aggro decks. That's why I have that fanned out sort of pilot leader contingent down the bottom, because I've seen in all 5 of those leaders real strength and speed in terms of like creating an insane board, hitting for a bunch of early damage, and like the 25-point bases are a huge liability right now because of how quickly and how difficult it can be to stabilize in space as opposed to the ground. And then that's why I'm looking at things like Luke and Anakin with more than 30-point bases. You can do Palpatine. I've been playing a lot of Palpatine. Colossus. I know Justin likes the Data Vault with Iden and potentially Kira. Steve likes Luke with Data Vault. So, and people like Anakin with Colossus as well. I personally prefer it at 30, but I mean, there's a real reason to go 35 to be able to swing for 10 with your Anakin.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty popular. I see a lot of Colossus being floated around right now. If you get the engine,
sorry, go ahead.
No, if you get the card draw engine, it can feel pretty oppressive if you can't knock them off that. But if you can keep them off of that, like you kind of just deal with Annie, and then the game feels pretty clean. But I'm sure the Steela thing is you can't really like that's pretty sick. Steela is really good.
Yeah, the Steela card advantage engine is crazy.
Yep.
Steve, how you feeling
Anakin
about?
does feel primed though. Sorry.
Oh no,
Anakin
it's okay.
Feel
I
like
saw Steve yawning down there.
It's one that's probably under the radar.
Yet, bro.
So I think that one's a good one.
Yeah, I might dive. I think it's really hard to play with Colossus, but I'd be interested to try the Anakin with Steela. I kind of just like where 30-point Anakin is, but the Steela part's certainly interesting. I just worry that it's not as good into the control decks as the 30-point one. Which I expect to be better, just because like the control decks don't care if you're pulling freaking Fell the Dragons and stuff.
Yeah, it is good at post board. You get the you get the
you get pillage,
and I think Force Ranger might be a tactic. Oh no, I mean it might be a plan. I'm not sure if it's a tactic or a plan, but you at least get pillage. Not that Force Surrender is that popular anymore, but you do have some angles there. Like I am worried about playing control or playing something that's a little slower and not being really ready for the control mirror. So like if I was to go control, red is pretty attractive because you can pull that hand hate, which I think and attrition more, and you can have tech. So hand hate plus tech to me seems like a pretty winning combo. Although like obviously Palp can just kill his little minions and draw as well, and has Palp return. So I would definitely be mindful of like attrition there. It's a scary thing to get in the control meta like world though, or control mirror world.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to opt into it just yet after my I'm done video.
Steve, how you feeling about Luke Data Vault or Luke in general with green in the upcoming meta?
I mean, if the event was this weekend, I'd definitely be playing the same deck, same list. I made a couple changes. You can find it. I don't know. Was it the Cash Cup? Wherever we post the link, you can just grab my link. I do think so. Like prior to yesterday, I was like probably not in a good spot because there will be some rise in control. But I ran some games in a Justin's Kara last night, and they didn't go so bad. So I really think. Like, if it was me, I'm going to play Luke and just try to dodge, like, the Emperor matchups. I think that's probably the only one that's really awful or unwinnable. Like, similar to how I just dodged Han in Denver last weekend. Like, I think we're getting into a meta where there's definitely going to be some rock, paper, scissors-ish. And to some extent, you need to get the right matchups to win a tournament, to top a tournament, right? You got to get the right matchups. You got to have a little bit of luck. So I think I'd probably play what I know best and just hope things line up. The only thing I'd say on here, there's no Piet, and I do think there's some room for Piet now post ban. I just don't necessarily know what that's actually going to look like or what the right combination of colors, but I do think having that ramp especially like being able to play Relentless for the control matchups. This is gonna pop up a bit.
Yeah,
or at least
getting
be a
it.
little bit more represented than it previously was.
Yeah, I'm seeing Piet pretty popular. I think that's a great point on Relentless. Like getting Relentless a turn sooner. If they're playing their own Relentless and you get it a turn sooner, that's pretty good. And then if they just getting it in general, I think that's going to line up really well. It's a good shot.
Yeah, being able to play it sooner and actually like follow it up with something prior to them playing Devastator, I think is like the bigger.
Right.
It's
Just
like
getting to that war, the
bigger-
Devastator war, faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or like being able to play a turn earlier to have out another unit when they Avenger, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've usually done that, slammed Relentless thinking I'm Gucci, and then they slam an Avenger, and now I just lost the game.
Yeah.
What they really need
So
is
it's
a Star Destroyer that destroys a resource, so you can get to that point and then just start obliterating.
Yeah, I mean,
obliterating.
That'd be hot.
That's what Planetary Bombardment maybe should do. I don't know, but yeah,
DJ Star Destroyer.
yeah, DJ Star
DJ.
Destroyer. What do you think? Do you think that like we have a bunch of different decision points on bases, 25, 30, north of 30. Is there a clear answer right now?
No. I think it's very situational.
No, but I think the people that like are looking at the higher life point bases who maybe dismissed them a little bit or just thought like, it's probably not worth it. I think we're seeing value of the life total, and also like, Steve mentioned it, like it wasn't strictly the life. It was the fact that you could be at 26 and not feel like you were just a random unit attacking from dying. And then also just like, there's other avenues there. And you think about this game being a game of actions, having more life means that maybe you're actually like you have one more action. And it's not more life, but it's more actions. So I've definitely warmed up to all three of the extra life bases, including the Lake Country.
And
20. You go, Steve.
I was going to say the best advice I can give anybody who's going to be playing Data Vault in the near future: do not double sleeve your deck. My hand is
You act
still
like
messed
it's
up.
like every other game you've played isn't 60
I know.
cards.
But
Yeah,
you
but I
just
don't
never
think I
double
ever
sleeve
I don't think I
before.
ever double sleeved those. Like double sleeves was before.
Every
Like,
Star Wars
Magic.
CCG game. Although I guess they're not. You're not actually shuffling 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you start with like
all
10
the
cards on the
starting
table.
cards.
Um,
Yeah, that's true.
25 is feeling a lot scarier, and then to the action point, the being able to like check someone so they have to claim, and then you get to do more things with your resources is we're seeing the value in that. So like, yeah, I agree there that like, while one of my I still played things like Kira ECL and Quinlan Tarkentown. I am starting to see the value, and I did like I called it before this tournament that Steve was going to do well with Data Vault. I was having a great time like playing Data Vault Luke just on my own, like not going to the event. So
Just remember to attack base.
yeah,
When you have a restore unit out, attack face. Vampire
yeah, I mean
Nighthawk.
that's such a big we were talking about it in the co-stream, but we don't need to belabor that point. Definitely seen the value there. Man, it's gonna be open. Like like Steve said, we didn't talk about Piet, or we didn't have him up here. Like Bosk also, like is Bosk coming back? The Bosky boys, either green or
and this slide is really just I asked what
No, I know.
everyone wanted to talk about. It wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be like representative of the meta. Well, that's for the viewer, not for you.
Yeah.
But like, these were just the points that we wanted to talk about. I do think that the meta is crazy wide open, and I think Sabine on 25 points because she has ECL and she's like always the best ECL leader. Like that's a clear 25 point. Like she can handle it, right? Because she's got Poe and Wrecker coming to end the game quick. Quinlan on Tarkentown has a really good start to the game, so it doesn't die. But people are finding ways, and basically Quinlan Tarkentown is so good and so popular that like you basically have to enter the tournament not scooping to Quinlan Tarkentown,
Right.
or ping Tarkentown in general, which sort of sets him back. And then you're able to create a bigger board that ends the game quicker. And that's when Quinlan kind of loses, right? Like they don't get the turn one ping Tarkentown, they can't stabilize, and they don't have the units because heroic is just like inherently a little weaker on unit stats, that they can kind of get overrun by not being able to trade in if their force throws don't show up or whatever, or pumps don't help you kill.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's such a force throw head. Like if you see your force throws, that deck is so different.
Right.
And there is going to be a roulette like of like, do we do one drops? Do we do more daring? Like, yeah.
Right. So then you've got two decks that are very good and play 25 points, but every single deck on this slide otherwise, except like you could do ECL Poe. I don't know if that's the best way to do Poe, but you could do ECL Poe. Every other deck on this slide, decks that we want to talk about, decks that we think are good, and decks that we're honing in on, are 30 or higher.
30 or higher, right? It starts the ceiling. It's like set one. You remember going to tournaments like locals and stuff, and like people just played the rare bases, just as a default. Like the control, some of the control decks played like the shield base, and now you're looking at everyone's opting into higher life totals. So yeah, I think you nailed it, Mike. I think Sabine and Quinlan, they already have their pre-formatted like 25 points of success. I mean, you could take a list from any of the events from last week. There are no banned cards in those decks. DJ is a sort of a 3/5, and maybe a couple of Wu played. But like,
it is crazy that they got rid of DJ when he was like a very viable vanilla 3/5 in yellow hero decks.
Body and so many other things. Yeah, maybe tech should have been banned. That's a whole other podcast. But like,
or high.
I think the interesting thing is like, is there actually a hidden 25 too? Because it does feel so risky. To Maddie's point, like 25s feel so light. It almost it feels like you're playing like a Magic deck that has like self-inflicted pain lands and burn and all that stuff, like Dark Confidant or what have you. So like, is it worth it? But is there another leader? Like, is the Quinlan ECL deck? Is there another, like you mentioned, the Poe ECL? Is there like a Wedge double green ECL? Is there something that just has?
Yeah,
is there another Tarkin Town? I guess Cad Bane has Tarkin Town still. Although I think Cad Tarkin Town is going to really not want to see all these control decks, though. I think,
no doubt.
That's just rough for Cad Tarkin Town, just seeing so many, like, if you're seeing the rise in Blue Bosk or whatever, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to say about those space aggro decks that I put up on this slide, because I want to talk about them, you do see people playing them in blue. Like CJ played blue with Security Complex Poe. Kaz blue. I've been playing some Kaz blue because it was one of the threads that someone tagged me in and was like, hey, Bobby, you should check this out. I know like Wu had mentioned Von Reg blue, and those are all with Security Complex. All, getting around, Tarkin Town ping kind of meta and also closing the game out fast. And those decks don't care about interaction for the most part. They just want to hit you as hard as they can with, suited up vehicles.
True.
So those are some other 25-point bases worth considering. All right, anything else you want to say about the meta before we move on?
We're just going to see where everything chips may lie.
All right. Well, because I plan to cut this
open
for the Monday video, thanks for watching this portion of the video. Check out the meta. Let us know in the comments what you think the best deck in the meta will be, or what you're looking to take to Richmond.
Sweet.
All right. Let's talk about Legends of the Force for a little bit. This Darth Tyrannus card got dropped. It's the 2025 convention exclusive. You'll remember that the 2024 convention exclusive was the Grogu card. There you go. There's Grogu.
I have it ready for the pod.
That's great. I have two PSA 10 graded Grogus and a designer signed Grogu. So this is
sleeve him up, Mike.
Sleeve him up. The what's crazy is Legends of the Force. FFG accidentally dropped a bunch of cards on April 1st, and everyone was like, "Is this a April Fool's joke?" And no, they were real. You could kind of tell how like the templating was so real. But then yesterday, or a couple days ago this week, they dropped Darth Tyrannus, a villain card, a 4/3 shielded unit that when the Force is with you, gains ambush. Like already out the bat, it's like the best villain card there is. It's absolutely stupid to get a 4/3 ambush shielded for 4. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
5/3 if you're playing Gar.
5/3 if you're playing Gar.
I think that's actually really hot. And like, isn't there one where if you attack with if a force unit you can like replenish. So like
Yeah, that's
I
every
think-
base, so I can move on. But
Okay.
that's every force base. So the new common bases have the force. They're all 28 life, presumably. But when a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. So you get to. I guess the hardest part for this is because it happens on turn 3. It's possible that if you don't start the game with the force, that you don't have a force on your base yet. But if you do have a force on your base, Tyrannus will immediately replenish it. You use the force. When you use the force, remove this token from play. You see the force token down there. You use it, and then he attacks, and you get it back.
Is the force token like both players can have it? It's not like something that goes back and forth. It's not like the city's blessing.
As far as
The
we
city's
know,
blessing both have.
yeah,
Okay. I was just curious.
yeah,
like, how
because
you
it says
actually
create
get it.
your force token. So I'm guessing that means like you have one and your opponent has one.
I see.
Ambush
it makes sense.
4/3 shielded is hot.
Yeah,
I mean, how can it not be? Comes down, kills something, sticks around. If anything has 2 to attack, then you can like hit then shield.
Oh yeah,
like,
do that.
like
yeah.
hitting like a Sabine. So any kind of 2/3 that you want to mop up, and then like I think the big thing. And
That
obviously
hasn't
there's gonna
happened
be
for a while, Maddie.
I
Remember
know.
that? Like,
Yeah, we used to do that a
he's
ton.
yelling a 7th fleet on A-wing. That was like happened so frequently.
Yeah,
It
putting
like,
the
doesn't
shield
happen at all
after.
anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy actually.
Crazy how the meta
Um,
shifts.
And like obviously there's gonna be a whole set, but like I am interested to see like a villain force throw deck, right? Like it's played, but it hasn't really really punched the meta so much. I can't remember at least like a very popular villain force throw deck in these trying times. So like having a it's just straight bad guy card, villain card that is so powerful. Like we're gonna start to see that, and I think that's gonna be interesting. I think it's a good card.
yeah, I'd love to get some villain force throw in, and I mean Legacy of the Force is going to be a force set. So I know some people are already thinking about force throw as a card to lobby for banning, and they even mentioned on the stream, that they are looking at some force themed cards as potential preemptive. I don't know if they said preemptive bans, but just like what's on their watch list. They made it very clear that force throw is the card that's on their watch list. Like there's no other force card that really could be as broken.
It is really freaking good. I mean, it's been like
Yeah, when you hit him, it's crazy. Have been. I mean, I still play the forces with me, and honestly, I've been messing around with Quinlan Blue again with where everyone's force, and just like it binds all things is still really cracked if you can get it in the right spot. I wanted to shout out Qui-Gon Jinn, one of the starter leaders, because people have proposed some pretty broken combos with this guy. So his ability is action, use the force, return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand, play a non-villain unit that costs less than the return unit from your hand for free. So there's some combos in here where you can like cheat out something with something like they hate that ship, and then return it. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of combos that like you can cheat things out and then get like more permanent stuff out there too.
Now, who is
Yeah,
this
like-
character? Because he hasn't appeared till set 5, and I'm guessing he's like a minor character. He must be, right? He hasn't been in the first 4 sets.
One of my absolute favorite characters from all of Star Wars, Liam Neeson.
It is kind
Not-
of crazy
not
that
Qui-Gon Jinn.
we're just
Liam
getting
Neeson.
him now. That is.
He's got a particular set of skills. I like that he's cunning. I don't love that
Yeah,
he's a
'cause
6
cunning's
cost,
broken.
but he has a cool ability where he's bouncing and putting guys into play for free. So he's able to trigger when played abilities, and
Why is he
anything
cunning?
for free leads to MPE combos at some point or another.
yeah. Do
Yeah.
you guys remember
You
any
got
of the
picture of
combos that
Orville up
people
there?
have shouted out?
There's a gore one, like make a bunch of tokens, exploit out gore, bounce them back, and then play like a Starhawk or something.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
I saw the exploit ones.
Oh, yeah, do it with
Basically, like,
exploit, right?
Exploit cards
Yeah.
are worse. So you exploit. So you have like 2 cards in hand. You have like an exploit 7 drop or something that's cheaper, and then you have like a Darth Vader that has an enter the battlefield trigger as well. So you like exploit a 7. Wouldn't
can't
be
do
wouldn't
Vader,
be Darth
right? Yeah, you
Vader.
can't do any
Right, but
Qui-Gon.
just like example.
But like
yeah.
Yeah.
you would use Luke, for example. So you'd exploit a
One.
crappy 7
7-cost exploit card, and you'd swap them out with the Luke, which would actually be pretty cool because that would. Does it destroy? Oh no, return to hand.
Yeah, return to hand.
Yeah, return to
then,
hand too.
But if you exploited, they
would
would have died, right? If you exploited, you would
Yeah.
have killed one of your own guys. So
Yeah. And then
You
like
can-
double yellow is going to have a lot of good. There's so many good enter the battlefield stuff with double yellow that you can like,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
You can
attack
do it with
and-
1-1 to get back the car that you exploited.
Bounce your DJ, put him back down with Han.
You can do it again.
Still a resource.
the Twin Sons deck, the Twin Sons Qui-Gon and Han deck is going to pop up.
Well,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I think we're going to get a lot of enter the battlefield to support him, and it's going to be cool. Or when played, sorry.
yeah, and then you have Qui-Gon's Aether Sprite. This was like the thing that people were kind of freaking out with DJ. Is next time you use a when played ability, you may use that ability again, so you would be able to steal two resources with DJ. But then, like, if you do have the Aether Sprite with Qui-Gon, it does let you sort of lean into full combo double trigger with his ability. So they are putting the pieces there for a combo deck. The thing that I worry about with FFG, that I always worry about with them, is that they're going to give us combo options, but then not give us enough, and so the deck
Yeah.
never actually comes together.
It's
like a
also
Phasma-
like
Phasma
a bit
deck.
Right.
clunky. Like it is powerful, and I'm sure there's going to be a way to like. I hope there's a way to make it work, but like your 5-cost 3/6 attacking, and then doing all the other things. It's a lot of actions. We talked about the 3 to 5 more life means such a big thing in actions and getting somebody into checkmate or check positions where they have to claim, like going all into it, get that first attack with the 3/6 5 that doesn't do anything when it comes into play, right? Is kind of slow and clunky. So I'm gonna try to break it. Cantina Bouncer bouncing 2 things is insane, right? Or like Ahsoka discarding 2 cards and tapping something down or whatever. Like there's so many good options there. Just whether you can capitalize on that, and maybe it's not double yellow or whatever. Maybe it's got to be like green and you ramp and whatever.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited for a lot of these cards. Like, I try not to get too into spoilers before a set comes out because I'm usually focused on the grind of a season. But obviously, with this being the world set, it has my interest a little more peaked than normal. But like Obi-Wan being a 3/5 Sentinel, potentially, when you play a Force unit, including this one, gains Sentinel for the phase. So like when he comes into play, he's a 3/5 Sentinel on 3, which is when Emperor's Royal Guards is online, like that's a huge pain in the ass. So like the fact that this is just auto a 3/5 Sentinel is pretty crazy. I know you guys will appreciate this, Justin and Steve. Anakin Skywalker hidden. This unit can't be attacked. It was played this phase. It's like a versus
Hounds of
system.
Ahab.
Yep, it's a versus system mechanic that was really strong. And then with Anakin, he's shielded, so 1/1 shielded means you can force throw turn 1, which is pretty sick.
Maybe.
And then I
Force
really
throw, put a saber on him.
Yep. I love Maul. Right, shielded unit with a saber is pretty crazy. I love Maul's lightsaber. It's a +4/+2 for 3, but it's got that forces with me ability where you can attack by playing it. It has overwhelm. You can't attack bases, but presumably if you're doing it, you're gonna hit hard.
Yeah, that's sick.
Put them
Porgal
on
too.
Maul.
Is it Porgal, whatever, the free card?
Oh yeah, I didn't put it up here, but there's Porgs is a 0-cost
Porgs.
1/1 creature.
Zero
Yeah.
is always broken.
Yeah, 0 is broken, and I don't know what's been talked about because like I said, I don't really get into the spoiler chats, but Porg, now there are 2 of them into like a creature,
Cool.
like Crate Dragon or something. Jabba's Rancor. Like there's some cool stuff that you could do.
You could do that on turn 1 with Han Solo. Porg resource. Now there are 2 of them. Play like a 5-cost on turn 1. It's kind of crazy.
That is cool. What is his like
Creature.
Creature.
creature?
Yeah, you got to do it with
5-cost
creatures.
creature.
It's a creature feature, baby.
Yeah, who knows what else
That's
is out
cool,
there?
though.
But we're presumably we could get the like the arena Attack of the Clones arena creatures. There's already a bunch of creatures.
Mhm.
So yeah. So some
Hit us in
exciting
the
spoilers.
comments with your favorite creature.
Yeah. And hit us with your
Porg
Porg combos, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't think we have anything else for today. Yeah, that's it. We did it.
Cool. Oh yeah.
Boom.
2 weeks from now, we will be potting. Maddie will not be on the pod because he will be in the top 8 of Richmond, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Either the
Oh.
top 8 or swimming in like
Play
prize
mats.
tokens or whatever. Yeah.
So many Matt.
Because I think it would.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to do well, but I also think it'd be fun of like a video of like how many tokens are like
How many
tickets
mats
can I
can you
get?
win?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're one of those people who tries to go infinite with like the claw machine, and one of those people being Mike.
Mike.
But,
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
wanted
just, like-
nothing to do with the machine at Society Sports.
No, that machine I could tell was no good.
knew.
But there's my
Which is
oversized Harley Quinn that sometimes people ask about. What's in the back? I got it
Wait.
out of those massive claw machines.
Did I tell you I pulled something out of a claw at Dave and Buster's recently? It's like my first like big claw with like people watching.
Nice.
That's gross.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I
never
pulled my
done
mic there. Jason, speaking of friend of the pod, Jason Ford, he once pulled 2 with 1 at a Friendlies in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Nice.
Ooh,
That's
love
always
that.
the dream.
R.I.P. Friendlies.
I know.
Yeah.
Rip.
R.I.P.
All right.
All right. I
Yeah.
gotta go feed the kids breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I got to
that's
go
not
record my
really
claw
right.
machine pod. So I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Thanks for
Okay. See you
watching.
in 2 weeks. Peace.